Tonight, I have the pleasure of being in the company of former Guadeloupe international player, very close to the Trinidad and Tobago family right now, as we sit here at the Marriott in North Carolina, 2 nights ahead of our closing Group A clash against the United States. With me, Stephane Auvray. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Of course, those of you who've been following our football in recent times, you must know the name and you would be able to associate him with another famous and upcoming, what I would refer to as a young and upcoming star for Trinidad and Tobago football, Kaile Auvray. This is Kaile's dad, and he has been following the team not just for this particular Gold Cup, but he has actually been watching the steps of Trinidad and Tobago football for quite a few years. When you look back at his past, he has played for Guadeloupe at 3 CONCACAF Gold Cups, dating back to 2007 when we qualified for the Gold Cup but did not go beyond the group stage. That was the year after our participation at the 2006 World Cup. And of course, in recent times, prior to Kaile making his debut for Trinidad and Tobago, Stephane was in charge of the St. Martin team that played a friendly against Trinidad and Tobago at the Hazy Crawford Stadium earlier this year. Tell me about this. There's so much history. There's so much regards to you and football from then to now. Let's recap what has been happening.
Oof. You're gonna have to narrow down that question because we could speak for a long time.
Well, we have some time. The game is 2 nights away, and it's not too late right now. But in saying that, I was so interested in seeing that you were able to play for Guadeloupe, and you actually went as far as the semi-finals of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. That's the furthest Trinidad and Tobago has ever reached as well. Back in 2000, that's 23 years ago. You would have done it, a lot more recent than us because 2009, 2011, 2007, you've been at the CONCACAF Gold Cup. What was that experience like playing for Guadeloupe and being able to represent your country and then obviously, continue to play professional football as well?
I think it was my biggest pride, with my children. It's difficult to explain.
Yeah.
I was born in Guadeloupe and I played in France for a long time. And yes, you dream to represent France, but for me, representing Guadeloupe was bigger. The attachment is bigger. So it was our first Gold Cup in 2007. And we made it to the semifinals, lost to Mexico by 1 goal. And nobody was expecting us. So obviously it was a big surprise. But what I would say is whether it was 2007, 2009, we went to the quarterfinals. And 2011, we played in the Gold Cup as well. We always played. So I think the major thing that I will take from it as a player and as a coach now is go with what you have and, you do your best, play your game, and see what happens at the end.
In saying that, there was a famous player as well who you would have played alongside. He would have played at the CONCACAF Gold Cup, played for France as well. Tell us about that experience.
Jocelyn Angloma?
Yes.
Jocelyn at the time was 41. And he had retired from playing in Europe. He was still playing in Guadeloupe. And, he played right back all of his career. But with us, he played central mid, which means we are together in the middle. And he's very easygoing as a person and as a player. Very humble, gives you advice, never restricts you because he knows that you are the future. You're coming behind him. And he's going to let you do your thing and help you out, knowing that you will make your mistakes. So that's what I remember from him, a leader, but a positive leader who's going to try to raise you instead of sometimes some leaders have trouble to let you take over.
Yes.
And that wasn't the case at all. And until now, I think he guides the Guadeloupe team this way. And he's somebody that all of us appreciate and results speaks for itself.
Perfect. Okay, Stephane, you mentioned something that has stuck with me in that recent statement that you made that, in terms of your aspirations to want to possibly play for France because of the magnitude of that nation and its football, but Guadeloupe was close to your heart. We have a situation here as well with Kaile because I'm thinking that possibly he would have loved the opportunity to try to pursue a career, an international career with Guadeloupe, the country that his father would have played with. But for some reason, it looked like Trinidad and Tobago is a little bit closer to his heart. Tell us about that and how you felt about that. I mean, we're all interested to find out how that decision came. Obviously, the opportunity was knocking, but I mean, that's a decision that you had he possibly would have had to think very deeply about before he made that decision.
Well, from my perspective, very proud because being born in the Caribbean, raised in St. Martin, raised in the Caribbean before I left for France, my son playing for a Caribbean country, I'm proud. Okay, it's not Guadeloupe, it's Trinidad, it's his mother's country. Same, because we're back in the Caribbean no matter what. So my perspective is easy. And actually from his, it was also easy because as soon as he got called up, he went and you could see the smile on his face, the happiness. The family was behind him. So very quickly, he had made his decision and we didn't have to sit around for hours to make a decision. It was a straight conversation and probably lasted 10 seconds.
Do you think that game against Trinidad and Tobago, and for him to get a taste of the Trinidad and Tobago soil and the environment, might have attributed a little bit to his decision? Of course, there would have been a story before that with your influence and with his mom, etc. But do you think that that particular game might have helped him make the decision?
I think so because he was playing for the opposite team,
Yes.
but the crowd ended up cheering for him. I think, you could feel it.
Yes.
You could feel it. And thank God this opportunity happened so he could showcase his qualities and his skills. And the Trinidad coach appreciated what he had to offer. So, in our family, we believe that God has a plan. So
Yeah.
it was definitely God's plan for it to happen this way.
Of course, he is coming to a Trinidad and Tobago team that is comprises of a lot of experienced players, the likes of a Kevin Molino, a Jovin Jones. These guys have made a name for themselves in the MLS and also internationally for Trinidad and Tobago. Kaile is like the baby boy in the squad right now. I mean, it's going to take him some time to really be able to assert himself and to settle and to go forward. What sort of advice are you giving him based on what you would have been through in your career?
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Yes, sometimes being young doesn't work in your favor, but it doesn't last forever. And then you look back, and you will always look back and feel like I should have, I could have. So really, the motto is wake up in the morning and make sure you enjoy your day as much as possible, and enjoy being here. You're 19, you just turned 19. You're at the Gold Cup. Give what you have to give. The country is counting on you, no matter what time you have on the field, and enjoy it as much as possible. And hopefully, you will grow into a great player.
Yeah.
And a few years from now, you will have to lead others as well and make sure you lead them positively because, yes, there's football, but it's more than this. It's sharing, it's representing your country. And, football is so much more emotions.
Of course.
And as a retired player, I keep telling him enjoy it because it goes really fast.
It's interesting that you say that because most of my interviews with him, even at the press conference, his message always seems to be, when I ask him what's his approach going to be and how is he looking at the game, he always talks about, he's just happy to be here. He's happy for the occasion and he's going to enjoy it and make the best out of what is ahead of him. So I think your message is certainly getting through to him. I want to go back now, obviously, to the creation of Kaile Auvray and your relationship with his mother and how that started. How did that come about?
It was pretty simple. I was playing in France at the time, and his mother went to France to study. So we ended up meeting each other actually in a nightclub.
Yeah.
Just discussing and being from St. Martin. She's from Trinidad. We were in the north of France. You don't see many St. Martiners or Trinidadian there. So the connection happened right away. And we've been together for almost 25 years. We have two children.
Amazing story.
And thank God we're happy and we're trying to raise our children the best possible way and make sure they do what they love. That's how I was raised. My father didn't have the chance to do what he wanted to do. So we make sure that we help our children to do what is in their heart and that they grow as very good young adults.
Right. We see that he's attached to Sporting Kansas at this time, and you also have a past with Sporting Kansas as well, and you would have played with the Red Bulls also. Tell us about that period in the MLS for you.
It was a time when I feel that I needed something different. I had a 3-year contract in France, but we had a coach who was also open to different things and understood that as a family we needed to experience something else. So this is when I moved to the MLS with Sporting KC. Played there for a season and a half, and then I went to New York Red Bulls. I was able to play with Thierry Henry, who I knew, and Rafa Marquez, and some very good players. And actually, after playing with those guys in New York, I started understanding the game differently because they played with Guardiola in Barcelona. And my conception of the game completely changed. And this is when, a few years after, I decided to train players, but teach players. how to play the game, because most players are coached. But I realized that at a young age, you have to teach the game, interact, learn, let them understand what the game is about. And I've been doing this for 10 years now. And Kaile went through this system I had in place, which is really made to create intelligent and technical players. And thank God we did it, because he doesn't have the same athleticism as as Lukaku, for example.
Yes.
So he's shining with his technique and his intelligence and his game understanding. So I think it was a good transition from the MLS to playing with those players. And then I played a little bit in Asia, and then doing what I do now, which is training younger players.
Right.
And again, I think it was God's plan. So
Go through for me what it's like for you now looking at Kaile in a football game. You've been here for all the games so far. Seeing your son out there and seeing him represent Trinidad and Tobago, what are the emotions like, and how do you deal with this?
it's a very good question, because I'm still very calm, even when I train my players or coach my senior players with St. Martin. Watching Kaile play is a mix of expectations and excitement.
Yeah.
Because obviously I know what he's capable of doing, and I know he needs time to establish himself. So I want to enjoy the moment, but I can't wait to be 2-3 years from now, because I'm convinced that he's going to do so much more than what he's doing. So far, you get glimpses,
Yeah.
you get moments, but once he's going to get that consistency and play games after games, not because it's my son, I'm talking as a technician.
Yeah.
I really believe he's an amazing player, put in the right situation, and I think time will tell.
Okay. Stefan, what do you think about this Trinidad and Tobago team? Obviously, we are a country, and not just a team, but I think a country on a whole in transition when it comes to our football. And we've been through some turbulent times in recent years. And, Kaile now has been like a shining light that has entered our football. And we are hoping to discover more players like him, both in Trinidad and Tobago and whoever is out there with with the possibility of getting a Trinidad and Tobago passport. But what are you seeing? What are some of the thoughts that you're going through your mind when you look at this Trinidad and Tobago team right now and the state of our football?
It's not easy for Angus Eve, because he took over in a difficult situation. But I have to really, I did congratulate him, because at the end of the day, Trinidad is back to the Group A of the Nation League. He's playing the Gold Cup, and knowing what this situation was when he took over, it's really an accomplishment. Obviously, a coach doesn't get everything right. We make mistakes, but I have to really, he's doing a very good job. So that's more what's going on, where the coach took over and where he's at.
Yeah.
As an overall general perspective, my perspective, there's so much talent in Trinidad, and it's a pity that COVID kind of had all those things on standby.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a matter of time. Organization, logistic, all those things will come back. And as long as things are put in place for the younger ages, it will follow through, because there's a lot of talent. Even this team that you guys have right now, there are some players, whether they're starters or not. Obviously, Guadeloupe is smaller than Trinidad. So I truly believe that in the years to come, Trinidad can do a lot. There's a lot of upcoming young players that you guys didn't find yet as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the qualifying for the World Cup 2026, and even more than that. However, I'm still Guadeloupean, so I wish Trinidad all the best. But
Of course. Yeah, and I have to agree with you there that we are going through a period now where we're still putting the puzzle together, and it's going to take time. We have to have the right approach, the right people involved, and I think with people like yourself now on our side, and having Trinidad and Tobago football at heart, and wanting the best for Trinidad and Tobago football, it can only serve our country well. So we are grateful for having you and for the discovery of Kaile, and hopefully we're going to see more of this as we look ahead to Nations League, which is right in September. There, we understand today now our opening game is in September at home to Curacao. So that's something to look forward to. And then we look ahead to 2026. But you've heard the story here from Stephane about his journey and the upbringing of Kaile. And we have a surprise up next for you guys.
On va parler bon créole.
S'il vous plaît.
Only Parliament people can understand that if we speak Creole.
Yeah.
So actually, I have a friend in Parliament, so I tell you hi. Well, first of all, happy to have you here. I'm not the journalist, but as a parent and also as a coach to watch you play. So I'll probably ask you, how so far was the journey?
So far, it's been great. I'm truly enjoying myself. Every step, every flight, every session is I really taking it all in and trying to get as much experience as I can from this tournament because I understand how much it could bring to me and also bring to the nation in order to help us to continue evolving. So it's really amazing.
Okay. And you want to tell them who won the last 1v1 we had?
No, I don't want to tell them.
Well, you won the last one.
Oh
Yeah, you
yeah,
did.
I won the last one. That was my first victory against him so far.
Well, yeah, true.
What's it been like for you, Kaile, having your dad as I would want to say a mentor, but also going to push you to become the best and to become better? What's that like?
It's great to have him alongside me all the time because whenever I have any questions, any doubts, any type of thought, I know I could either if I'm with him, obviously come and see him and we could talk, or I could call him in any situation. He's always there for me. And with his experience, we usually able to find a good solution, have interesting conversations, what we agree, what we disagree, and I learn a lot from him. So it's a privilege.
Well, one of the questions I have for you is actually how you settle in this setup of Trinidad and Tobago, following your choice to represent Trinidad, and as well how do you get along with the players, with the environment, and all those things.
Well, I feel like I'm settling very well because I've had the chance while growing up to live in 4 different countries. So meaning that I feel like I can adapt to different situations relatively quickly. So I get along very well with all my teammates. The trend that setup, the way that things work. I've had the chance to experience different things. So uh, I really adapt quickly.
That's good. That's good. I'll take it as a compliment for your mother and I because obviously we traveled a lot, but at the end of the day, I think it was beneficial for you and your sister because, as you said, you get different perspective on things and you can approach everything differently. And most importantly, you have your opinion, but you have to understand others' opinion and where they're coming from. That's important.
Yeah, that's why I'm all ears. As in, I always listen to what people have to say in order to take in the information instead of just listening to answer. I listen to take in the information and see what I could get from what this person is telling me.
Okay. On a more technical basis, do you feel that how could I say that? In this Gold Cup, do you feel not satisfied because we're never satisfied, but where do you situate yourself so far based on what you've done?
So far, I feel pretty good. As in, game by game, I'm building more confidence in what I'm able to do. I think the same could be said for the team in terms of what we're able to present. But on an individual note, I just feel like I could be doing a little bit more. So, for example, the game against Jamaica, I think I was able to get forward and create a couple of situations. So I want to do that more and more. I think that's where I still have to improve is to keep on pushing on what is successful and in order to do it high up the field to be a bigger threat.
And I think that, well, I think I could be wrong. That's what your coach is asking you. He knows you're going to take risk. You may lose a few balls, but that's your game. That's why he's putting you on the field. So I don't want to speak for him, but it seems pretty obvious that he knows you're going to be not going to be successful at every time you try, but he wants you to go forward, to take chances, to beat players, to break lines. And even if you miss a few balls, a few of them will get in that box. So my suggestion would be keep doing what you do, and you have your teammates have your back. They know you're going to take risks, you're going to try things, and so far you could see that they're behind you. So that's good. I am Stephane Auvray.
I am Kaile Auvray, and we are part of the Trinidad and Tobago family.